All right, I'm Judson again, and we are having some more day drinking and crafting because apparently that's what I do. And today we are going to make paper cones, like a decoupage cone, in keeping with our whole everything's made out of paper theme this year. So that's our project for today. And our shot for today is hot damn. So hot goodness, I should say, because I maybe am not cussing on this, but in any case, it's a hot cinnamon schnapps. So that's what we're gonna do today. All right, so like I always say, know your limits. We're gonna start with 5. In case you were counting and maybe I didn't really do 5 last time or did more than 5. Although if I don't show these in order, you won't know. In any case, now we're drinking hot damn cinnamon. Merry Christmas. Kind of like a candy cane, but a little spicy.
Cinnamon, yeah.
Yeah, cinnamony. Like what are those ones that your grandpa likes? The red ones, the Brock's ones.
They
Cinnamon discs.
Yeah, that. Grandma likes the butterscotch ones.
I like the butterscotch ones. Why am I not doing butterscotch shots? I really like butter. Next time, butterscotch schnapps, butterscotch. You know, the caramel tasting one, that one. That's what we're doing next time. 4. 5.
Now we switch, right? And
No switching. No switching.
that's 6 for those of the people counting at home.
I feel like you're not helping. Yeah, that one may have been a mistake. But in any case, now let's get to it. All right, so for today's project, what you're gonna need is some manila folders and some glue. I told you before you probably didn't need to buy the large quantity of glue, but I'm certainly going through it. Maybe a little water. You need, or not need, but optional, but recommended, some cups, different sizes, a container, a little paintbrush thingy, and paper. Now you could do whatever kind of paper that you want. We made copies of this French newspaper, not that I read French, but just that I thought it looked fancy, that we're going to be using sort of as a finishing touch. You don't have to use paint today, so that's a plus. And you know, bonus, no hot glue. So the first step is with the folder. You just kind of take it and then fold it into a cone. And then tape it down. And if you're smart like me, you already put some pieces of tape at the ready so that you're not trying to figure that out at the last minute. Because I absolutely tried it once when the camera was off, where I was trying to hold the cone and do the tape and the scissors, and not recommended. So you kind of have this cone shape, right? And then what I do is I take one of these cups and I drop it in, and kind of see where it's gonna go. And then I use the scissors to cut the cone to that size so that you can use the cup. The cup kind of acts as a base, and we'll hold it in place and kind of hold the form of it. God, please, if you're a child and you're watching this, do not use the scissors the way that I use the scissors. I am the worst sort of example for that. it's amazing my children can use scissors at all. I mean, quite honestly.
I didn't learn from you. What your wife is for.
Fair enough. And I feel like Christy Swinney probably taught you the proper way to use scissors. Go Swinney! In any case, so then you've got a cone. If you're using a little cup, this is kind of the size of, the small cone. And then use a couple of pieces of tape. This is just a tiny, tiny bit bigger than I want it. So I'm going to trim it down. And hopefully I'm not doing that thing where you trim it a little and then you trim it a little bit more and then suddenly it's like 6 inches shorter than you intended. No, that's good. And then I'm going to use some tape to tape it. So that's one of them. Yay! Alright, so hopefully when you're done you wind up with several different cones in different sizes. This one we use the red one on, this one we use the clear cup on. It just makes them a little sturdier. And then the next step is a missing step because I don't have all of the supplies in front of me. So give me a big timeout and I'm gonna go get whatever I forgot. Boom, there it is. Hopefully that was like internet magic for you and not my unpaid intern running and getting the things that he forgot because he's the first intern. Anyway, you need newsprint. And so you just kind of rip the newsprint into strips. Because basically you're gonna, what's it called? Paper mache?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. In that movie Love Actually, Emma Thompson calls it happier mache or something like that. Very French. It sounds very, very cool. But basically it's the same thing. Anyway, so you cut it into strips, and then this is where my unpaid intern should have really been on the ball. You're going to use your glue. Now, so there are like all over the internet people's recipes for paper mache, paste, or you can use Modge Podge, which is very famous, which I didn't even know was a thing until I went away to college. And Heather Cook told me about Modge Podge, that it's for paper mache. I add a little bit of water so it's a little bit thinner. Also, here's a cute little trick that I learned. I don't use it when Matthew does this. I only use it when I'm going to be the one doing this. But if you add warm water, it's not like so cold on your fingers.
You must think you're so funny.
I kind of do.
I feel like you should give a little backstory to this.
So when we did the setup, so that I wouldn't have like lots and lots and lots of waiting on this video, we did some like pre-prepped some of these paper mache cones, and it was really cold, like really, really cold. La 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 singing. Oh my god, I must be drinking. I'm singing on camera where people can hear me.
I was kind of hoping you'd go la 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 mixing.
La 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 mixing. So, in case you don't know, I work with children at church. This is just going downhill. They're probably gonna fire me. And one of the many things that I have taught children is this amazing song that I have made up, which is la 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 singing. And it doesn't necessarily have a tune, or it doesn't necessarily have a key, because I don't sing in tune or on key, either of those things. What's important is just being able to do it loudly. And I have taught the children that song, and so whenever we are doing children activities, I will often say, let's sing a song, and then when the children all go la 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 singing, very loudly. I love that. It just cracks me up. And I taught Matthew that song when he was little. And so now he is the king of mashup. He has a Christmas version.
What is fa la 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 singing?
Yes, which is like one of my favorite things. And
Boom.
but we're working on a new one, but we haven't quite mastered it yet. So, all right. So here's what you're gonna do. I highly recommend that you probably be prepared, and like when I say know your limits on drinking, be prepared. I was a Boy Scout for a minute. There's a whole frozen banana story there that I'm just gonna let it go and get it frozen, let it go. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna move on.
That's just sad.
But yeah, what my point was, you should probably wear an apron and have paper towels, which I don't have. Anyway, so if you've never paper machéed anything, you take your cone, you take your paper, you put it in the paste. Oh, you know what? That didn't stay very cold, very warm.
That's what you get.
Yeah. You kind of, squeeze the excess paste off because you don't want it super, super goopy. And then you just, stick it on the thing. And your goal is to cover the whole thing. How did it work when it didn't, did it?
What?
When we used the little foam thing to paint the...
No, not at all. I'm actually kind of unclear to why you brought it out here and got it dirty for
To
a
mix
reason.
it, I needed something to mix it.
Could have used like a chopstick.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. This was with the craft stuff.
I say chopstick like Grandma would have let us use one of her chopsticks
Right.
or something like this.
Right. So y'all may think, listen, that we're doing this, day crafting outside day drinking and crafting outside because, it's nice weather, which it kind of is. And because...
You're not wearing shorts?
Well, I'm not wearing shorts. Matthew's wearing shorts. And because, it's easier to clean up if I make a mess, and I'm not going to get into trouble for... But I think the real reason that we're doing it outside is because my in-laws may or may not have banished me. Allegedly.
Fake news.
Fake news.
It's 2017. I don't think we can say that.
No, maybe not. Yeah, that probably was... This is exciting. So your goal is to cover the whole thing with the newspaper. And so this is what you're going to look like when you're done. This one is really wet, and it's basically covered with newspaper. Now, I know like with paper mache, sometimes you use it to like build things, and you start with a frame and you kind of build it out with paper mache. That's not really what you're doing here. You're not trying to build a tree. You're just giving it like one layer of the newsprint to kind of make it more substantial and less likely to just, completely fall apart. So this is a wet one. Here's one that we, through the magic of the internet, is completely dry and ready to go. We did it about a week ago. It took, I think, about 2 days to dry. But we had it in the garage, so that's why. Anyway, so this is your internet swap out. And this is the next step. And so what we're going to do, there's a lot of things you could do. You could paint it. You could, glue ribbon to it. You could put little pieces of tissue paper on it so that it looks like a piñata. I mean, there's any number of things that you could do. Don't make that face.
A piñata?
So when we did those stars, the one year that we covered them with you didn't want your hands to get sticky. So you put the tissue paper in the glue, the tip of the tissue paper in the glue, and then you stuck it to the star, and then it had like the frilly ends of the tissue paper. Yours looked like a piñata. Everyone else's was all flat.
Hey,
but
man.
then, like, later you went back and peeled off of your star. But initially,
How
your
old was
star
I?
looked like a piñata. 2. You were 2.
I was 2.
You were 2.
I was the 2-year-old who didn't want to get his fingers dirty and
Yes.
sticky.
Some things never change. In any
Well.
case, this is what the paper that we chose. Like I said, it's in French. It looks all fancy. So we cut ours up in squares. I've got a bunch of cut up squares here. You could do any number of things. You know, there's things on the internet where you tea dye it or you print it on darker paper. Tea dyeing is a thing where you use tea to color something, like to dye. You could do fabric or muslin, or I guess muslin is a fabric, paper to make it look older. But that's not what we're doing, because black and white is our thing for this year. Now this one, you probably can use the sponge for, but this is like the decoupaging of it, which is kind of funny because to me, you know, an unskilled layman, I don't know that there is a difference between decoupage and paper mache. At least it doesn't seem like there is to me. But anyway, you're just going to basically do the same thing where you cover the form in the new paper, the shiny paper. Oh, you could do wrapping paper on this if you wanted to. That might be pretty.
Just dip it in glue and then shower it with glitter.
Well, shh. So yeah, with any of these crafts, the last step, you saw me with the glitter spray, the last step is that you can always spray glitter spray. When in doubt, cover that thing with glitter. So I'm gonna try, I think that I figured out that you could paint it on, maybe not. Yeah, so you can, if you're doing the decoupage step, you can paint the solution on and then paint over it. The painting over it part is, I think, the important part, because it helps it dry flat, and also, in case you didn't know, Elmer's glue dries clear. But the idea is to cover the form with these little squares.
Why not just skip the first step, the paper mache, and just go straight to the decoupage?
Because the paper mache step helps like, you can't really tell, but like the cone is stiff and not flimsy and less likely to fall apart. I think that if you skip that step, you run the risk that it doesn't stand up as well. Like, I mean, theoretically, you're gonna decorate with these or put them out where people can see them.
I thought we were doing this just to hide them in the closet.
Well, if you're a closet crafter and no one's ever gonna see it, far be it from me to judge what you've got going on in your closet. But I mean, I guess it just depends. Feel free to try it without the paper mache step. I will say too that we have other things planned for some of the cones that definitely do need for it to be more substantial or more sturdy. And so for us, it was a little easier for me, since I'm doing the majority of all of this crafting. It made sense to just go ahead and paper mache all of them, so that then I'm not trying to say, well, these are the ones that we're gonna do whatever with, and then these are the ones that we're gonna do something else with, and kind of go forward like that. And basically, you just keep going and going and going until you have it completely covered in this fancy French newsprint. Apparently, there's only one French newspaper. Oh no, there's several French newspapers, but only one that is available in the U.S. or that is like printed daily in the U.S. or something like that. I thought that was interesting. So I'm trying to not have bunches of, because I printed it and it's not actual newsprint. There are, of course, the border around the edge of the paper, and I'm trying not to have big chunks of white. I'm trying to have it actually be covered in the print, but that's what I'm kind of going for here. So keep going until you have the thing completely covered in the newsprint, or the fake newsprint, or in whatever paper if you're choosing. Oh, back already. So yeah, we're finished, and this is what it's going to look like. You know, it's covered in the newsprint, and then you want to wait for it to dry. As I said before, if you want to finish it up with glitter spray, which I might possibly do, or you know, I guess you could bedazzle it. Do we like bedazzling? Is that a thing? You could cover it in sparkly things that aren't glitter. What are those sparkly things? Glitter dots?
I don't know.
Anyway, there's any number of things that you could do to make it fancy.
Kind of off topic, but I'm just letting you know.
So if the camera just suddenly goes flying, or you hear a really loud, you know, earth-shattering noise, that was Matthew. In any case, this is what it looks like done. I hope that you enjoyed it. Lights are coming on, going off. The sun is setting. I have run out of time, so I hope that you enjoyed it. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all of that. Thank you. Yep, cinnamon.